Hey guys, and welcome back to the Geek Street where the street speaks. Once again, my name is Jess, and I have my geek buddies over here, Eric and Sean. Say hi, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
So we are pretty excited because this is our first ever video ever since our comeback. So if you guys have watched our previous comeback video, we've explained to you guys about why we went missing for a few months. Hopefully you missed us because we missed doing this. But yeah, so this is our first ever recording for our comeback video. Unfortunately, our one more member, Harvin, couldn't make it. It's okay, he'll be joining us for the next one.
Who's Harvin?
But yeah, huh? Who's Harvin? Harvin, he used to be the guy who record with us. Now, no more.
You cannot diss him, like he's doing our editings. I forgot, cannot diss him.
Sunny, he edit your face into something else. Edit, I don't know. Harvin, take note of that. Edit Eric's face into something.
Yeah. See, you're putting fire right now.
So we are pretty excited because what a way to start other than
You can't take the words out of his mouth.
yeah, I'm trying to figure out the words to describe the feeling of it because what way to start other than Guardians of the Galaxy 3?
Volume 3.
I said, okay, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So yes, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was recently out. Of course, it took us some time to watch the movie because all of us were busy with our lives. You can know more in our comeback video. Okay, I'm not going to go into that. But yes, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 just came out, and I think after such a long time, ever since Endgame, we finally got a pretty decent movie, a pretty good movie. Some of us, we won't say it was a great movie. That is why we're going to have the review, so that you can know what we think and see if you guys feel the same way. And if you feel any different, you can always drop your feelings in the comments below, and Sean will work on answering you guys. Okay, so yes, we're going to jump into the review. So before we go ahead with the review, just want to let you guys know, spoiler alert. I think by now I don't have to say it because you guys know what we do. We talk about the movie. So if you haven't watched the movie, please make sure to go and watch it first and then come and watch our video. Okay? Yes, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. Okay, let's jump into the review of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. All right, so we are back on the review for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Unfortunately, we didn't get to watch the movie together. I think Eric and Sean, they went together and they watched it, and then I went separately, Harvey went separately. But I think, yeah, it was a really good movie. I think I really loved it because as the final movie for the Guardians, you know, like the final goodbye, I think the storyline, storyline wise, I wouldn't say it was really that great. I wouldn't say it was focusing on the final goodbye because I think because it was focusing more on the flashback of Rocket's backstory. So if you look at the bigger picture, it looked more like a filler episode lah. You know, Rocket's backstory, he got injured and then they're trying to save him. But other than that, to see what each character were going through, I think it really built on into the emotion. I think when I was watching it also, I was like tearing up. There was a lot of emotional scenes. Even though emotional, still there were some parts where, because it kind of flashback, it was like going in and out. So I felt like my tears also were like
Yeah, and
You cried?
Yeah, I'm a very emotional being. Don't you know?
okay, yeah, and the way they positioned all that flashbacks, that we know that if you watched it, the flashbacks are all like sad. So the minute it goes into flashback, you already know it's going to be an emotional ride, right? The only time it was happy a bit was when Rocket was having fun. I mean, the young Rocket was having fun a bit, playing around with his friends. Other than that, it was all sad. So I agree what Jess said. It was like a emotional roller coaster where we're like going up and going down, going up and going down. It's like you don't know when to be happy and you don't know when to be sad. And then one thing I like about this storyline that they did was they really focused on the story arc of each of the characters. So, and the way that they parted, we all know that now all of them had their own purpose in some way, right? So, I mean, the storyline was very simple. I would agree with you, Jess, that they just focused on Rocket and they just built the whole story around Rocket. But at the same time, they did manage to build character and try to find their purpose. And I don't know, maybe after this they'll pour out series for each one of them, or not. Or maybe this could be the actual ending. I don't know lah. But in the storyline, I think it was okay lah. It was decent.
Yeah. Sean, continue.
Okay. I agree with you guys in terms of emotional up and down, but
emotional damage.
But the only thing is, I mean, of course, they did a good job in terms of portraying Rocket more so that, because he's going to be the new leader of the Guardians, right? So, in a way, it's good. But then the question mark also goes on to like what happened to the rest of the cast, right? So for me, it was like maybe there's some unfinished story somewhere, maybe, but we cannot. Not everything can be perfect, lah, right? I mean, we cannot write a perfect story. But I think they did a good enough job that moving forward, it's good, right? But some unanswered questions, maybe later we'll get into that, right? But other than that, I think it was maybe I think there were many rewrites. I think, hence why you see like, I don't know, like the flashbacks in a way to talk about Rocket's origin and then him moving forward, right? But why they had to kill off, like, Layla, who's a super good character in the comics, but then, in the movie it was, I mean, I don't know. But yeah, I feel like maybe they had to go through a lot of rewrites, things like that. But yeah, but then it was okay. It wasn't the best story they could have told in Guardians 3, but it was a good story that they told. Yeah.
I mean, we still don't know if Layla is alive or dead. But we don't know if she's
she got
alive
shot.
or dead. Yeah. And she's partially robotic.
And nobody in Marvel is truly dead.
Yes, unless
until they do a funeral.
yes.
Just remember that until they do a funeral.
Yeah. So we don't know. Yeah.
So Captain America is not dead.
Yes.
He's not dead, but they never show him dying. He's just old. So you will see one old Steve Rogers appearing during Secret Wars. But I mean, like Sean said, it's like if they want to focus on Rocket's story, they should have just focused on Rocket's story, right? Maybe just focus on his story and his development. But the fact that they focused on Rocket's story and suddenly they came up with, we gotta break up. It's like, how is the relation? But of course, you can understand throughout the movie, a lot of people went through some near-death experience, especially Peter. I think he almost died twice since Guardians of the Galaxy 2. So it's a little bit justified
before he dies again. Or dies for real.
Live life peacefully. But aside from the storyline itself, I think we gotta give credit to this movie on the other aspects, for example, like the CGI and the visual effects. I think Marvel was very well known for their good CGI, right? Even in Iron Man 2008, the CGI was damn impressive. But then throughout the years, when the new phases, I think ever since mid phase 3 and coming to phase 4 onwards, the CGI quality started dropping, right? Do you agree with me, or was it phase 4? where the CGI was like really bad. I think Wakanda
I think it started
Forever.
phase 4 lah.
So, phase 4, right? So I don't know. I think when it came to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, the CGI was really good. It was, you can see a lot of effort put in there lah. Like not like the other movies, you see like the CGI are wasted. So yeah, it was good visual effects, and the fact that what I like about Guardians of the Galaxy is James Gunn is really bold in exploring in various different aspects, because it's a space movie, right? So you don't need to adhere to the logics of Earth. You're not bounded by Earth. So, for example, when they go to Orgo is a base that is built within like organic matter. So it's like you're just going and jumping on one lump of skin and cutting the skin, and you can see all the ooze all coming out. And then visual effects wise, who would have expect a huge research lab security to be wearing suits that look like ulat sago,
It's camouflage.
Camouflage in within the skin.
Yes.
Okay. But why like that? Or maybe it look like lice
I don't know why they are
on the skin.
bubbled up lah. Maybe because of all the packs, the guns, and all the ammunition. Maybe that's why they're like bubbled up. But the color and the texture makes sense lah.
Yeah, the color and texture makes sense. But other than that, all the gooey stuff, I'm like, yeah, you guys are a huge corporation. I think you can go past the gooey stuff,
But I think they did it very creatively. I mean, nobody will question why they did it that way, in that manner. I think they did it very creatively. I don't think anyone will question it. But if you compare with Multiverse of Madness, I still think that this CGI makes more sense than Multiverse of Madness. And Multiverse of Madness is supposed to be madness, literal madness, but it wasn't. It was just some kid doing his CGI drawings. Like they asked a university student to just whatever.
Yeah.
I think even What If did a better CGI. You know what I mean? So I agree with you. Like credits to Guardians of the Galaxy with their CGI. It also makes me wonder, like when they are recording, when they're shooting, the whole movie is going to be like green screen. So can you imagine how they are supposed to visualize the whole scene and doing everything? So that is also kind of impressive that they pull off all that flawlessly.
Exactly. Yeah, like you mentioned, for a movie that is full green screen, and even their costume, I think we finally got to see the Guardians in their proper Guardians attire. That is much more comic accurate. I think a lot of the fans have been waiting to see this. Because previously every character had their own wardrobe, right? But now to see
No,
them,
we got to see everyone in their costume but Gamora.
Gamora, yes.
Gamora, why?
Because Gamora.
Why Gamora?
Who Gamora?
How is Gamora? Oh, why? Oh, where is, who is, why is?
Yeah.
Why is Gamora? Yeah. I would say really kudos to the visual design and everything. Even the Bowie ship, like Sean always say Bowie. Even the CGI for that ship looks really good, David Bowie. Yeah.
No, I mean even when they flew into Counter, right? They really did it very well. It's fully CGI. It's not like they took off, where they edited it like based on a real footage. It's fully CGI, but still it looks so good,
No, and the concept of the way that it flies, they made it seem so real, Like it's all scientifically calculated, the way that it moves and the way it flies.
Yeah, but I think it's the same thing like we saw the Beneta in Avengers Endgame, floating in the sky. I think that also looked so real, so yeah.
And I don't know if you guys notice this, but then when they go to Counter Earth, right, a lot of the people were the animal people, right? if you look at the behind the scenes, the amount of work they put into just doing the prosthetics for the creatures, even though they appear for a brief second. Like I saw the one, the octopus guy selling meth to the cockroach kids. It was just like one brief scene, they'll be passing by in the car and they see that. But when you see the behind the scene, the amount of makeup they do for all that just to make it look realistic. So yeah, they did a really, really tremendous job in the.
No, I think James Gunn just wanted to kill the budget lah. It's like, just spend as much money as you can. I'm not going to do another film again with this.
My final MCU movie. So for those of you who don't know, this is James Gunn's final Marvel movie, and then after this he's moving on to DC. So if you want to see more of James Gunn's creativity and quality, it will be applied in DC, and we'll be breaking down DC movies as well.
Only DC, we don't do Transformers here, sorry.
Yeah, we are called the Geek Street, not the Marvel Street or the DC
Street.
Okay. Stick true to your word.
Okay, Jess.
Okay, so I want to ask you guys, music-wise, I know Guardians of the Galaxy 1 had really good music. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 also really had good music. But when it came to 3, there were some split opinions. I want to know, what do you guys think about the music? Is it a yes, a yes, or a nah?
In my opinion, all the musics hit well. The choice of music was good. I mean, don't talk about the music, we all know the songs were good. It's all old school, old time. But the choice of music from the production team is good. I mean, the editing production team, whatever you want to call it, it's good. But I feel that they put too much in it, that it kind of feels draggy. I mean, it felt like a Bollywood scene where every time they go into a new scene, there's like a 30-second music. Every time they go to a new scene, there's another 30-second music. Every time they go to a new scene, there's another 30-second music. And they'll take the 30 seconds just to display what's going on. Although it's nice, but you can't do it every time, every song. So that felt draggy at some point.
And I don't know, it didn't really affect me that much. I enjoyed the music. I mean, it's not like I know most of the music. I'm more familiar with the 80s music, right? So in this movie, they play more like 90s and early 2000s. So one thing, I didn't really get to enjoy the music that much because I'm not really that familiar. Yeah, you may think I'm old. I'm born in 1995, but I'm more familiar with 80s music. But either way, I still enjoyed. It didn't really feel like, they're playing so many music and it's repetitive. It felt like a Guardians of the Galaxy movie lah. But now since you said it, it kind of hits me. Yeah, maybe I mean, I don't like movies that overdo it. Like for example, like Thor. Just because Thor Ragnarok did really good with the comedic aspect, Love and Thunder, they forced too many jokes in until it flopped, right? But yeah, in this aspect, I didn't really feel it. But I also understand if you feel it, that there's too many music lines.
No, but I think okay lah. I mean, it was okay lah. There wasn't. I wouldn't say it was too much. It was just nice. But I like the creativity when they transition from one scene to another scene, with using this type of music to, and the music somehow sort of I would say 100% relates. But you can feel the vibe lah when you move from one scene to another scene, whether it's happy, whether it's content, whether it's sad, whatever, right? Or whether it's super exciting. So I think it speaks to the creativity of the whole production team lah, right? Including the music editors and the director, how they use the music for transition. I think that's something cool and can be used in other places as well lah. It's creative but it's nice lah, just nice.
And for those of you guys who don't know, James Gunn is really good in putting music with the lyrics that actually relates to the situation, So for example, like the opening scene, the music, the song that Rocket was listening to is more about self-hatred, because the whole theme was Rocket hating himself, right? So throughout the movie, all the music actually relates. So even if you guys don't enjoy the music, maybe you guys might look up at the lyrics of the music that describes the scene, then you might enjoy it a little bit more lah. It might not be that bad lah, I would say. Right? So, okay. So we've spoken about every aspect of the movie, right? But then now the main focus is the characters themselves, because we all agree that we've seen a lot of character development in this movie. Every single minor character, okay, like you see Rocket lah. Rocket is now the main star of the show. I think the movie did justice for Rocket's backstory. They didn't really squeeze it like a small split second, but they spread it throughout the movie, I think, to create the impact of how painful Rocket's origin was. We knew about Rocket's origin. He was torn apart and he was experimented on. But then to see it actually happening, it gave a lot of in-depth to Rocket. He wasn't just a mere side character, but he was a character who was experiencing a lot of emotional trauma and pain. So, what do you guys think about that aspect? Or aside from Rocket, any other characters that you think that has good character development?
Sean, you want to go first on this one?
Why me? Okay. No, so Rocket, I think Rocket's character, they did justice lah. In terms of moving forward, like I said at the beginning, they did very well for him. Okay. In terms of Peter Quill's character, why would you not kill him off if he's not going to be relevant? It doesn't. There's no clear path for Peter Quill. If you ask me lah, I don't see a clear path. Huh? Yeah, okay, it can, but that's like so long away. It's like 2025.
That's like 2 more years, man.
I mean, he can make a cameo, but if you're going to still keep him in the Guardians, why not keep him, right? That's what my logic is. So nobody died.
When it comes
it was fascinating to me in the sense that if you're going to like break away from a certain set of characters and moving on, you have to give them something tragic that they break up, whatever, something but this they went in their happy ways lah. So are you just keeping these characters here? Okay, maybe it's not James Gunn's fault. Maybe it's Kevin Feige because they don't keep the characters because I don't want to die. I want these original characters to be here so they can be in Secret Wars. Fine, I understand that lah. But then why not keep the Guardians as it is until Secret Wars and then break them up lah? That's what I think, because I don't think they will do a volume 4 until maybe after Secret Wars. Maybe I don't know. No plans yet, right, for volume 4. So I don't know why would you break them up, but keep them around. Like, and then and these are important, fairly important characters lah, right? Correct. I mean, if you look throughout the comics, these are sort of like important characters to the storyline. Why not keep them? And if you're going to break them up, get one or two to die lah. Then there's a reason why. That's my take lah into a character development.
No, but I think all of us know Marvel well. They just won't simply release shows for the sake of releasing them and getting money. I think this is all planned, right? It's always planned for something or with something. I don't think there's a with, because there's nothing big releasing where any of them
maybe James Gunn had some few people die, but then Ken Feige was like, no, don't kill them all, please. So
we need to make money.
It's possible.
Okay, I
have
a theory about Star-Lord, Peter Quill. So we will discuss that in the theories part. But I have a feeling he might appear in Secret Wars. That is the whole purpose of him, of them showing him on Earth. And later I'll explain why. I mean, when we do the recording, I'll explain why I am saying that Peter Quill, aka Star-Lord, will return. So yeah, peace.
Okay, Eric got some interesting theories. So if you guys want to know more about the theories, we will actually have another segment where we'll be focusing on the theories.
Segment, a whole different show.
Yeah.
Not segment, a whole different show, an entire different episode where we'll be talking about all theories regarding this movie. So if you guys are interested, you can jump on to our next video and you can know more about the theories that we're discussing. Okay, so moving on. Okay, characters, right? Okay, Peter Quill. I think a lot more other characters also had a lot of development, right? That's what I like about this movie. Like Drax, for example. the fact that Drax, he doesn't recognize himself as a destroyer, but he's now a father. He recognizes himself as a father.
Adopted father.
Huh?
Adopted father, stepfather.
Yeah, no, I'm saying in the whole aspect, like when he started dancing with the children, because the fatherly,
the father in him, the
father in him. Until Mantis also told him, what you're meant to be a dad, not a destroyer. So there's a good closure for Drax's character. For Nebula, from a person who is always angry and feisty, then you see she's like more calm, more comedic. There's no proper closure for Nebula. I'm really hoping that they will focus more into her story later on. Probably that's another reason why they never killed her.
I honestly thought that Peter will actually hit on Nebula.
No, I wanted to say that. I think, Now I was thinking to myself, maybe this can be something that they talk about later, but then.
Because they hinted it at the very start, so when Nebula had to carry, Nebula was the one always taking care of like Peter and stuff like that. So.
I think the time spent with Peter Quill was develop some feelings, lah.
Yeah. And maybe he just didn't realize it, lah. Then until Gamora said it.
So who knows? There might be some spark in between them.
So regarding the character development, I just got one person to talk about, and that is Adam Warlock. It's a negative part because I think they didn't do justice to Adam Warlock. Reason being because we all were so hyped with Adam Warlock, and in the trailer he was so hyped up. But then when it came to the actual movie, it just didn't add up. He was like a joke to Guardians of the Galaxy.
Man baby.
and we understand now why that they actually casted what's his name, Will Poulter. Yeah, it makes sense why they casted him because he plays those kind of roles. But I feel sad for him because that could have been his life-changing moment where people actually took him seriously, because he put so much effort into getting the cast. He put so much effort into playing that role, getting so buffed up and meet up just to play Adam Warlock. And then they gave him the script and say, nah, go screw your life over, so it's not fair for him, and I don't think it's fair for the character as well. So they didn't do justice lah. I think they could have. The start was very good until when they showed us the scene where he went and meet the mother, then everything just went down the drain after that. So I think other than that, I'm very happy lah.
And for those people defending, saying that he's newly born, so he's trying to understand everything. It doesn't have to be portrayed that way. I mean, look at Vision. Vision was newly born, but he was like the most respectable character out there, like until he can even lift the hammer. So I agree. They didn't do justice for Adam Warlock, because if you look at the comics, Adam Warlock is a very, 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 very powerful character. He even wielded the Infinity Gauntlet. So
and the tech that they used to form Adam Warlock is the tech from High Evolutionary. So if High Evolutionary can give birth to a raccoon that is super smart and super intelligent and can just buff up his own machines and tech, don't tell me that Adam Warlock has to be a baby now. It doesn't make sense lah.
No, they did say he came out. He was taken out too early from his
the mother was
I mean, their way of explaining why they fucked up his character. Okay, Harbin censored that.
No need.
YouTube is a safe space. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy also, they already evolved into using F words and all. I think
we still can.
Yeah, no holding back this time. Aside from that, High Evolutionary, I think there's nothing much to focus on to High Evolutionary because he's a one-time character in this whole movie, and in the comics also we don't delve much into that lah. All I can say is he's portraying almost like what he is in the comics.
I really enjoy the character because it really. One thing I can say, all these new movies, the Phase 4, all the villains are actually played very well and were developed very greatly, except for Namor lah, or Namor. Except for him, unquestionable, but the rest, like what's the Ant-Man first name?
But the first villain,
The Conqueror, Kang.
David,
Kang was played well.
oh.
And then High Evolutionary also was played very well. The only thing I'm disappointed is that they didn't give us a fight scene where we can see his powers. I think that's the only thing I regret not having, because we couldn't see. But I think emotional wise, the rage, the purpose, they gave all to him. Just that one thing that could have made him an extra baddie, the baddest of the baddie, that would have just beat the cherry on top, but they didn't show us that.
Yeah. I give credit to the actor. I think his name is Woody Iwudu. I don't know if I'm pronouncing him correctly, but he portrayed the character very well. The maniac, the mad scientist kind of
I
vibe,
think he could have been a lot more madder, lah.
A lot more madder. I think he was
Maybe like a
goodly
Heath Ledger style,
madly good.
crazy cuckoo in the head.
But yeah, okay lah. Maybe he could have been madder, but I think he did a good job with it lah. So aside from character development, we also want to talk about the comic book reference. I mean, we are not the Geek Street if we don't talk about references, right? Because that's what we used to do in breakdowns and everything. Now, since we don't do breakdowns anymore, but still want to note out the references that was in the movie lah. So Guardians of the Galaxy, I think I would say, is not entirely comic related, because I think James Gunn did a bold move to go with his very own story arc. I mean, some of us may be disappointed, because we don't really see much reference to the comics. It's more of his own story, but there are still some parts that are still comic accurate lah. For example, I would say, when they go to Counter Earth. So if you guys are avid comic book readers following the Marvel comics, Counter Earth is actually very accurate, I would say, to what was portrayed in the movie. High Evolutionary actually created a Counter Earth. In the comics, High Evolutionary was actually a human being. Okay, he was a doctor, and he went through an accident, and then he became insanely smart that he evolved. So he created Counter Earth, and he's destroyed it multiple times to create the perfect utopia. And what was in Counter Earth is an exact replica of Earth, but with his version lah. So yeah, that is very accurate to the comics. And aside from Counter Earth, we have been introduced to a new character. So this new character was not introduced throughout the entire movie, but was introduced at the end credit scene. So if you guys are wondering, for those of you who know, okay, good. But for those of you who don't know, we want to explain to you that girl, what Star Children, Star Children, the Star Children that High Evolutionary created, that girl with the white hair who kept saying chup 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 chup. Yeah, I don't know where they get the thing from, but Rocket called her Phyla. So if you look at it, if you compare it with the comic, with her white hair and her name being Phyla, this is a direct reference to Phyla Vel. So Phyla Vel was the daughter of
Marvel and Elysius.
No, not Marvel.
Marvel.
Marvel, yes. Her brother is Janice Vel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Her brother Jan. So yeah. So basically, Phyla is like an altered reality. So basically, the story is Marvel and Elysius had a son called Janice Vel, and Janice Vel at one point destroyed the entire MCU. Marvel universe. When he destroyed the Marvel universe, he recreated it back. But when he recreated, the timeline was a little altered, that he apparently had a sister. So this sister is actually Phyla Vel, and she will take up the mantle as Captain Marvel.
Supposedly
So
lah.
Captain Marvel, supposedly lah, in the comics lah, and she's also known as Kaza. So Kaza, aka Captain Marvel, is a very very powerful cosmic character in the Marvel comics. So in this movie, the name is referenced, yes, correctly, but then her origins was changed. In this, her origin, she was created by the High Evolutionary instead. So, but I hope that by introducing Phyla, she will be part of the next Marvel phases. Because if you guys notice, there's Love from Love and Thunder, Young Child, and then now there's Phyla. So I think what MCU is doing, they're building up these young characters for the coming phases, maybe for the next 10 years. After phase 5.
And I also think they will be building for young Avengers lah.
Yeah.
So that could be a story where they tie in maybe the Kang Dynasty or Secret Wars as something like that lah. That's what I heard lah. So I'm not sure, but we see how. I'm not here with Feige.
Well, this girl looks too young to be involved in Secret Wars unless an older character plays as Phyla lah, like maybe few years later, and then there will be the involvement of Secret Wars and Kang Dynasty.
I mean, technically she's a Kree, so based on comics lah. So she could be linked to Secret Wars in some way. In some very far way. I don't know. It could be lah.
She's not a Kree here in
I mean, they didn't mention.
Okay, first of all, we don't know where they came from. I mean, High Evolution cannot just make her out of nowhere.
Yes.
Yeah, right. So maybe there is a backstory where they were kidnapped as babies or whatever. I don't know, right? Could be also from a Kree world or something like that, and then so maybe something like that. But yeah.
I like how we're going into theories, but I mean, we can't help it, lah. We can't help it, right? Okay, it's okay for Phyla and everything. We can talk about in the theories later, but I just want to talk about Batch 89. So we are introduced to Lila, Flaw, and Thieves. So that is also sort of comic accurate because Lila, if you see in the comics, she's actually the love interest of Rocket. Yeah, so to see that, once you know that Lila was actually the love interest of Rocket in the comics, it makes more sense for her to die and for Rocket to cry in pain because they're not just friends, I think Rocket was in love with her. That's why when Rocket meets her in Animal Heaven, they sort of like Purgatory. Purgatory. For those who don't know, it's a Christian term. We are Catholics, so purgatory is sort of like a limbo, right? For in layman's term, limbo is like in between heaven, in between hell. It's like in between death. So
it's so like where Harry met Dumbledore.
Yeah, it's where Harry met Dumbledore.
Yeah. It's very similar. When I saw that scene, and that was my first thought. Where Harry met Dumbledore. So Lila's the love interest, and Thieves was actually a character in the comics which was Rocket's buddy. In the comics, he was called Walrus, like Walrus. So Flaw only, I'm not sure, but it was really nice to see like these three friends, but then no one expected for them to die and Rocket to have this very tragic backstory. So I think it was a very good input for them to put Batch 89. I think that was the tearjerker moment that made us all teared up because his friends died and he screamed in pain. I think Bradley Cooper did a good job not acting as Rocket but voicing Rocket. The CGI team did a good job. Sean Gunn did a good job placing it as Rocket. But for a CGI character to portray so much of pain and wailing like that, I think really good job with what they did, right? So I think that's our review for the movie. But before that, I just want to do some special mentions. For those of you guys who've never watched Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, please make sure to go and watch, because in the holiday special, you will actually see some references from the end credit scene. For example, when Peter was talking to his grandfather when he was having breakfast, the grandfather is reading newspaper and he says, Kevin Bacon alien abduction. This is all related to the holiday special because it involves Kevin Bacon. And also, another spoiler alert. No, it's not a spoiler alert. They mentioned it at the beginning of the movie that Mantis was Peter Quill's sister. So even that, it's explored in the holiday special. So don't think of it as just one normal episode, but it brings in some aspect, that some better understanding into what was shown in volume 3 lah, so that you get the most of what you watch in the movie, you know. So if you guys watch the holiday special already, kudos to you guys lah. So yep, now we are at the end. I think we've covered every aspect of the movie, and if you missed out anything, we hope that you guys will leave it in the comments below on what we missed, and so that we can cover it in our next episode lah, and we will really appreciate what you guys do. So any final say about the movie? What do you guys think about the movie? No? Nope. Okay, so after this, we are going to be directly recording our theories video, but we'll be posting it as a separate episode. So I just want to let you guys know, because we'll be in the same t-shirt, so don't think that we didn't wait for 2 days or something. Okay, we're doing it right after. We're doing overtime. So yeah, that's all from us. This is the Geek Street, and the street has spoken. But before that, make sure to like and subscribe our YouTube channel, the Geek Street. Yeah, I did it the other way around. Make sure to like and subscribe. Hit the bell notification. Okay, I don't know how the other people do it. But also follow us on our Instagram, thegeekstreet.my, and we also have our Discord community where we have a bunch of us people where we basically talk about anything, any updates or anything we feel about the movies that we like, including Transformers. Okay, people who love Transformers, you are very most welcome. So please don't listen to Sean. Okay, Sean is just
It's not only me. I think there's a petition out there.
Hey, if you see the amount of people who love Transformers,
Bye.
Okay, till next time, see you guys. Bye bye. Good night.
Bye now. Good night.